We're talking with former Wisconsin Badger Rae Lin D'Alie. Can you catch us up a bit? What have you been up to since you graduated in 2010?
Yeah, so what's up, Badger Nation? Graduated in 2010 and right away went over to play professional basketball in Italy. Have been there for 11 years and just been hanging out over there during the year, playing on 5-on-5 teams. And then in the summers, I would either come home, be with family, or I would be with the Italian national team.
And you've qualified now for the Olympics in the 3-on-3 game. So can you take us a little bit through your journey? You come from small town Waterford, Wisconsin, to the University of Wisconsin, and now you're an Olympian with Team Italy. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And actually, when I was a junior at Wisconsin, Jolene Anderson, a former teammate, was playing overseas, and Janice Banks as well. So I had this dream to go play overseas, and my dad his side is from Italy. So I graduated in 2010, and a door opened up for me to go play over there. And I remember I would go up to Oconomowoc and I would run by myself, and I had a dream to be on the Italian national team. So when the door opened up for me to go play over there, I actually landed on a team that the current national team coach was the coach of. He kind of saw me play for 2 months. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay with the team for the number of foreigners that they could have. But because he took a look at me in 2012, I was invited on the Italian national 5-on-5 team. I did one summer with the European qualifiers. And then in 2016, I went to a local 3-on-3 basketball tournament that happened to be in Salerno, Italy, which was the city I had lived in prior. So it was just a couple friends who I played with. They said, why don't you come check it out? We went. We ended up going into the finals the weekend after and beating the national team in the finals. In 2017, I was then invited to play on the Italian national team for 3x3. And it was kind of like a dream, just a dream come true to even be on the team. And I remember in 2016, after that moment where we beat the national team in the kind of summer local tournament, I went home, I watched the Rio opening of the 2016 Olympics, and I came home and I wrote in a journal entry, and it was a prayer, and my prayer was that I would be one day would be on the Italian 3x3 national team going to Tokyo. And 5 years later, it happened. So I'm super excited, and that's kind of like the journey of how it all went down. 2018, we actually ended up winning the World Cup, and it was there where this dream actually became a practical goal. And then it was a 3-year journey battling through kind of injury, COVID shutdown, but just kind of always believing, keeping faith. And then 2021, here we are going to the Olympics.
That's so amazing. And you talked about the connection to Italy, that you have a dual citizenship. Is that how that works, or how does that work that you're able to play for Italy then?
Yeah. So my dad, like I said, my dad is from Italy, his side. So 4 generations ago, my great-great-grandfather lived there. So we traced his heritage back. And actually, we found out he was from a little town called Calvanico, which was right above the city that I was living in at the time when we found out, right in the province of Salerno. So it was kind of this really weird thing. I was 1 year out of college, and one door opened for me to go play in this city called Salerno, Italy. In the year that me and my sister were there, we found out that my great-great-grandfather was from that city, 10 minutes above that city, just a little town. So it was just like, oh my goodness, this is a dream, not only to be going back to the country where my father was from, but to the city. And so we had a great time those first 3 years living there. And just my thing was I wanted to go full immersion into the culture. I wanted to learn the language. I wanted to learn the people. So I kind of hid out in the South in the 2nd division for the first 3 years. And I really got to know and start to understand the Italian culture, and kind of picked up the language, started to then study in Italian, and after that, I moved up to the north and continued to play and continued just to cultivate the understanding of the language, the people, and the culture. And yeah, here we are.
Very cool. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about the Olympics. And am I saying that right? You said 3x3. Is it 3 versus 3? Is it 3-on-3? Is it 3x3? What is it?
Yeah, it's 3x3.
Okay, 3x3. So I'll remember that from now on. So I want to talk about the 3x3 in the Olympics in a second, but let's go back to your time at the University of Wisconsin. You played in a school record 132 consecutive games. You started 131. That's from 2006 to 2010. Was there anything that kept you, kept that streak alive? What was it that kept that streak alive? Secret to your ability to keep on playing that many straight games? Was there anything?
I just think coming from a family that really loves sports, and we just played all the time outside. We had a neighborhood where there was 30 kids. We would go outside in the summer, pick teams, and for the whole day we would play like 3 different sports. So I think it was just A, part of my upbringing, and B, a lot of coaches instilled just hard work, never backing down. And I think that really stuck with me. And I really wanted to always be present, even if I didn't feel good or even if things weren't going well, just trying to battle through and try to be present at practice and definitely for games. I remember I think it was my freshman year, we were out in California and we all got hit with the virus and we all just had a rough night, but we all decided, hey, we're in this together and we feel okay enough to play. And things just like that, I think were not only just me, just when you have a group of people that are putting it all out there for one another, it's a lot easier to make sacrifices on the days where you don't feel great.
Yeah. Now, as a Badger, you led the team in assists for 3 different seasons, and you're second all time, 483 career assists. Was there someone you looked up to, modeled your game after, that helped lead you to those great numbers? And how much fun is it? How much joy do you get out of an assist compared to maybe hitting a jumper?
Yeah, so I think early on, I was definitely had a pass first mentality, and I think it was just I grew up with 5 siblings, so sharing was like you had to share, and maybe that was instilled for me again when I was young. The players that I looked up to, I really liked UConn basketball when I was in grade school, Marquette. I went to Badger camps, and the way that I saw these teams played, they played together, they played as a team. So I'm sure that had an impact. And then at Wisconsin, we had great scorers. We had Jolene Anderson, Janice Banks in my early years. And then we had Alyssa Carroll when I was a little bit older, and Anya Covington in the post. So there was a lot of people that contributed to our game that we felt, I think, confident and comfortable with our roles. And I knew that I understood right away one of my roles was to take on leadership. And I think if you're a good leader, it's understanding how to get everybody involved and how to get the best out of everybody. And not gonna lie, when you got Jolene Anderson next to you on the floor, you're just, when I'm going in there, I'm looking to try to always find the scores because teamwork is essential. So I think that was kind of how I was motivated like that.
Yeah. What a trip down memory lane for Badger women's basketball fans, all those great names, including yourself. So when you look back at your time at Wisconsin, what are some of your best memories being a Badger?
Oh, there are so many great memories. I still remember the day that I understood that I was officially going to sign. We went up to the office over Camp Randall. I'm a huge football fan because I played football when I was little. And just to be able to understand the passion of Badger Nation and just the fans, the support was already like, wow, I couldn't imagine passing this opportunity up. And then as far as on court, one particular moment that really sticks with me, we were at St. Thomas Virgin Islands. Barry Alvarez and his wife were there. He gave us this big speech right before one of the most important games. And we ended up taking down a top level team. And it was just this moment of celebration. And I think maybe my all-time favorite moment was probably just hidden behind the scenes. My senior year, we had a special, unique team chemistry that was like, we were really family. I mean, even still today, we do like every summer get together and do trips either to just around like the Midwest together. They've come to my house. We've gone to Alyssa Carroll's place. Anya Covington like spearheads always like getting people together. So I think the greatest moments are the ones that were actually lived off the court and still are being lived.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Olympics. This is the first Olympics to have that 3x3 basketball. That's, for those who don't know, that's 3 versus 3. So for those also not really familiar with that type of game, can you kind of tell us how that's different than a normal 5 versus 5? And you know, can you kind of describe the rules or anything you would want to know about 3x3?
Yeah, so 3x3 is actually, it came from like the break off of the college system, then going kind of to the streets, and then the 5-on-5 kind of modeled into the 3-on-3. And then you kind of had Gus Macker, this whole thing. And then meanwhile in Europe, FIBA was developing a professional street ball. And 3x3 is a really awesome sport because it is popped up courts in major cities. So for instance, in September, the Euro Cup will be played right in front of the Eiffel Tower. So they have these really awesome courts. They pop them up in major cities with kind of these awesome backdrops. They get the cities involved. So there'll be food trucks, kind of music, entertainment all around the venue. And then the venue itself is, they're always really beautiful. And the people they're always full. The fans are really involved in the game because it's, like I said, it's a combination of that street ball and professional basketball. So as far as the rules go, it's a 10-minute game, which ends up being about 20 real minutes. You play to either 21 or until the 10 minutes is up. There's 3 people allowed on the court at one time, and there's 4 of you on a team. So one person is out, and then we'll sub in. It's a 12-second shot clock. And the games are super fast. The 3-point ball is actually a 2 worth 2, and anything inside the arc is worth 1. So I kind of think it's like hockey because you're sprinting, you're full speed. And then after about a minute, you'll go sit out and then someone else will come in. And I think from what I understand, players really like it because it's so high paced that you cannot think of what happened in the past. So there's no time for like dwelling on mistakes or like celebrating too much until after the game because the possessions are quick. From what I understand, the fans like it because they almost feel like they're involved because there's music during the game. They're right basically on the floor with you and they can't take their eye off the screen or they'll miss something. And they tell me it's like a 20-minute coffee break from work. A lot of my friends say, yeah, I catch the game. I tell my boss, I got my 20-minute coffee break, and they go catch one of our games and then are back at it. So it's really fun. And FIBA has done an excellent job with about a 10-year development now to get us to this point. And the Olympic Committee caught on to it and are giving it a shot here in the next couple Olympics. But FIBA is really expecting great turnout. I've never heard anybody that's experienced it that has not liked it. So it's pretty cool.
I'm glad they're giving it a shot because it sounds fun. I like the aspect of the shorter game and you can really digest that as a fan. But speaking of shots, on June 6th, you hit the game-winning shot against Hungary to send your 3X team, Team Italy to the Olympic Games. Set up that final play for us. Take us through that game winner. You hit a game winner to go to the Olympics. How amazing is that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So like I said, we won the World Cup in 2018 and we were kind of like an underdog coming out of nowhere. And after that, we had kind of a target on our back. 2019 was a rougher year, but we saw France in the quarterfinal. And then we had to wait almost 2 years because of COVID for this moment here. So there was a lot of prep that went behind that game and that shot. And for me personally, I was 0 for 9 in the first 8 minutes of the game. So it was not a game where I was feeling very confident in that moment. But one thing I was sure of, and I really believed, was that we were good enough to make it, and that I really believed that we were going to make it. So when we knew we were going to face Hungary in the finals in their home environment, I knew that it was going to be tough, and just tried to prepare our team's mentality. No matter what happens, just kind of stay present with one another and just stay together. It's going to be a dogfight. So when there was 1 minute left, I remember their post player, who's a great player, kind of got the ball on the block, and we were, I think, up 1 at that point. We got a hand on the ball. I remember I grabbed the ball and they tied it up, and the jump ball goes to the defense in 3x3. So it ended up being their ball. They called a timeout. We were up by 1, and I went to the huddle and I said, girls, are you ready? We're about to go to Tokyo. Play defense, get the ball, and let's go with a pick and roll. So a girl on Hungary hit a great shot. She's a really tough player, a fadeaway from the right block. We got the ball back. I checked the game clock and knew that there was like a real close difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And my post player actually came early to set the pick and roll. So I was waving her back like, no, it's too soon. It's too soon. But then I wanted her to come back because I wasn't confident. I wasn't very confident in my jump shot in that moment because of the 8 minutes prior. But I took a glance at the shot clock, saw there was 2 seconds, not enough time to get to the rim. Fortunately, the defense stepped back and I just saw the rim and just took the shot. And then we were all, I think, like, make sure they don't get a shot off. And their girl kind of went out to the corner to try to take a 2-pointer, and we closed her out. And I think the rest is just kind of history. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It was so cool. All right. So with that game winner, you're the first Badger women's basketball player to play in the Olympics. You're an Olympian. Do you think about that? Has it hit you, impacted you yet? Or do you think it will perhaps maybe after the games?
Yeah, I think I understand it in part. So I don't think I can fully understand it until I'm there, probably, in understanding what does it mean to be an Olympian. Because now it's just like, I know it's really cool, and I understand, like, it's a really awesome moment. I'm very competitive. So like my mind is like, okay, that's great. I'm an Olympian. We're trying to even go further and try to do something even cooler. But I think just to pause for a second and understand that it has been a long journey, and it's surely time to celebrate in this moment as well as prep. And as far as like being a Badger and doing it, I mean, it's just a dream come true. And I think it's a testament also to UW-Madison and the work that they put into athletes. I know that when I was there, I came in a certain way, and I know that I left better as a better individual. I was more well-rounded. I had better skill sets on and off the court, better understanding of the world and how to kind of be a part of it. So it seems like Badger Nation is producing some really, really cool things right now and building into a lot of people. And I'm just really grateful to be a part of that.
Couple final questions for you. Now you're 5'2", and we know that could be a challenge in the game of 5 versus 5 basketball. Is that the same? Are those same challenges present in 3x3, or does being shorter, is that a benefit at times? How would you describe that?
Yeah. So as far as the benefits, it's the same size as a 5-on-5 half court, but there's 4 less people, which means there's more space. So for a little player, that's great for me because I can penetrate, and there's probably not going to be help side. And if there's help side, I'll probably be able to kick it for a 2, which a 2 is double the percentage as a 1-pointer. So if you give up a 2-point shot in the 3x3, then you're doubling the points, and it's a quick way to get to 21. So for the small player, I understand that more space means better opportunity for not only me, but for my team as well. And then I think on defense too, it gives me an advantage to be able to kind of roam around and try to be a little sneaky. It's a game that's like less tactic as far as like systems, because it's really spontaneous. So because of that, the defense doesn't really know where the offense doesn't really know where the defense is coming from, because it's not like there's certain rotations. There could be, but it's a little less likely just with the structure of the game. And then as far as disadvantages, definitely rebounding. I need to box out sometimes, a 6'3", 6'4" girl. And, but as far as that, honestly, sometimes I give up a 1-point shot on the block, but then I'm running out to get a 2-point shot on the 3-point line. So while there are disadvantages, I think I see there's a lot more advantages for the small one in this game.
Now I got to ask you too about your nickname, Rae Rae. Who calls you Rae Rae? How did you get that nickname?
Yeah, so that nickname actually started in my local neighborhood growing up in Racine, Wisconsin. My name's Rae Lin, and I just think someone must have called me Rae Rae, and from that, it just kind of caught on and followed me all the way throughout Italy, and now in the 3x3, and I guess now we're taking that nickname to Tokyo, so pretty cool.
Let's talk about Tokyo. So can you kind of summarize what's the timeline like for you between now and the Olympics? Your travel plans, how are you preparing, and what are you looking most forward to when you get to the Summer Olympic Games?
Yeah, so we'll go into a prep pretty quickly here for Italy. We're already prepping, not with each other, but kind of individually. We'll come together and do kind of a last camp. And then we'll head out to Tokyo the 16th, and we'll be full immersion in the tournament. So I'm not really sure how it's going to look as far as COVID protocol. They're doing a great job kind of keeping all the athletes in a really organized way to feel safe, to be able to go out and do what we need to do. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to, obviously, all the on-court experiences. I love basketball. I love to play and compete. There's going to be some great teams there, and we get a chance to play every team in the pool play. So that'll be really cool. And then I think off the court, I'm just looking forward to experience the local Japanese people. They're allowing 10,000 fans per venue. So that's going to be exciting. And then I'm really hoping there will be some sort of camaraderie between the athletes, even with COVID protocol, just because I love all nations and like people from different cultures. So I hope just to get to experience that a bit.
Well, congratulations. And I know Badger fans will have a new favorite, Team Italy, on the 3x3 at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Congratulations on becoming an Olympian, and thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys. I had a great time, and I'm so proud to always be a Badger. I'm Wisconsin.